Welcome back to Donkey Rescue TV. We have a great show for you today. We've brought out Jessica Anselman, and she is our Director of Communications. So sit back, relax, and let's do this together.
My name is Mark Myers. Most people just call me the Burro Man. I travel the country with my dogs rescuing donkeys from abuse, neglect, abandonment, or sometimes it's just wild burros that the government doesn't want anymore. My staff helps me care for more than 3,000 donkeys all across the country. Donkey rescue is not what we do, it's who we are.
So Jess, thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Jessica started out as a satellite adoption center,
Yes.
actually. And you were up in what we call the Metroplex, which is the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And you're one of our most successful adoption centers. You're moving a lot of donkeys out. She has since moved and doesn't really have a facility now to be a satellite adoption center, so I decided to hire her. So she's now an employee. And she is our newly minted Director of Communications. At our last trustee meeting, I created the position, the trustees agreed, and Jessica's the best person for it. You don't want me handling communications. I'm much too blunt. I say what I mean. So you do a great job when it comes to that. So what we want to talk about today is communications. It's a huge part of what we do. Our interactions with the public, with each other, being spread out all across the country, all the different locations. You know, it's all about communication.
Right.
So why don't you start with social media? Talk about our different platforms and...
Sure. Yeah, so we are on all the big social media platforms, most predominantly Facebook. That's probably our highest interacting social media platform. Not only do we have a page dedicated to Peaceful Valley Donkey Rescue as a whole, each one of our satellite adoption centers has their own Facebook page so that they can build a reputation and engage with their communities. So if you're in California, there's going to be 3 different California pages in which you can connect, as well as our main page. We're also on Instagram and Twitter. You can find us there easily. You can usually just search for Donkey Rescue. Those are our handles at Donkey Rescue. And then anything you search Peaceful Valley on Facebook, you can find us.
And we also have other pages. We have one for the Wild Burro Project.
Right.
One for Zach's Sanctuary Project. So we're all over the place.
Right. Our different hubs, PVDR East and PVDR West, have their own pages. And so pretty much any area of what we do that has its own functionality. So sanctuaries, even our mule rescue, even we don't adopt out a lot of mules, but information about what we do there can be found on its own Facebook page as well.
So website. Right now we're like usually the top 3 hits on Google. We've been very successful in the web. The website we have now is one that I built because I got frustrated with the platforms we had. But now we've hired an actual web designer, and we hope to have that launched, I'm hoping in the next couple of months.
Yes.
So just keep checking in, DonkeyRescue.org. It's got all the information there now. It's just going to be in a much prettier package when that does happen. We have some other websites for, like the Wild Burro Project has its own website. Our burro management, that's more tuned to the government agencies that have burro problems can get more information there. What else do we got? Oh, we got the gift shop is its own website. That's DonkeyRescue.com.
And pretty recent, and it's awesome. It's really easy to navigate.
And go buy stuff. Go.
We've got good
all goes to the
stuff.
donkeys. All goes to the donkeys.
And not to mention, our clothes, for example, are always a good conversation starter. You know, people who are not involved in animal rescue, or especially donkeys, don't think about donkeys very much. So not only when you're purchasing a shirt or a mug or something of ours, not only are you helping save donkeys, but you're helping spread that awareness, because people see it, they see our logo, they see the donkeys, they want to know more.
So buy 2 of everything and give one as a gift.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
At minimum.
And it does. All the proceeds go to the donkeys. All my photography work, I take nothing for that. That's all sold, and all the money goes to the donkeys.
And we have free shipping too out of our gift shop, so never have to worry about those costs. So we get a lot of questions from people who want to help. They love our cause. They love donkeys. They have, bleeding hearts just like all of us for these amazing animals. But maybe they don't have the right kind of property to adopt. They're not zoned for equine where they live, or it's just not feasible for them at that time. It's so important for the public to help us spread awareness. Most of us here within PVDR, we're connected in different equine communities and different, donkey rescues, horse rescues, but we're not plugged into a lot of these communities out there that aren't equine centric.
Exactly.
So we count on the public to really help us share these images. I don't think the public really understands why it's so important to trim donkeys' hooves until they see these pictures of these just horribly, injured or neglected donkeys. So we really do count a lot. That's one of the really great things about social media is it's easy to share these images and these stories and these videos of who we are and what we do out to the public so that the public can then get involved even if they can't necessarily adopt.
Fundraisers, people can host all kinds of fundraisers.
Yes.
Birthday things. There's so much online that people can do, and literally every dollar counts.
Yes.
We spend a lot of money. We spend $500,000 on hay each year, every year.
Yeah.
We spend $250,000 on sanctuary fees.
Yeah.
$200,000 on medical. These are actual real costs. And that doesn't count the rescue work that we do, the wild burrow work that we do. So the cost goes on and on and on. So
absolutely,
everybody who has any interest in helping can find a way to help.
Yes, and those are we get questions like that from time to time on our Facebook pages and in our emails. People wondering, hey, have you ever come out and done a presentation at a library, for example? Well, maybe not yet, but we would absolutely love to do that. The sky's the limit for what we can do to help raise money to save these animals. 2 years ago, I teach yoga on the side, and I taught a yoga class that all of the funds from the yoga class went to PVDR. Right. And so it was yoga for the donkeys. I let my gentle donkeys roam around with the people doing yoga. But the sky's the limit. And so if you have fundraising ideas, if you're plugged into different communities, if you have space,
and we have people all across the country that can come to some events.
Exactly.
I myself travel extensively.
Yes.
So public speaking is probably a good third of my job.
Yes.
So contact us.
Yes.
Let's work together. It's all for a good cause, and without us, these donkeys would be in really rough shape. So let's all get involved.
Right. And I think that's the most important part about having, being in this role as the director of communications is to really improve our reach and to spread the word. It's still, I've been in donkey rescue now for a few years, and it still amazes me. I get that question, why donkeys? And we want to show the world why they matter. Every single donkey matters. And in fact, I think my favorite Mark Myers quote is either all donkeys matter or none of them do. And so when it comes to fundraising, when it comes to donations, when it comes to just sharing our mission to improve the plight of these animals that have this reputation that isn't accurate.
People automatically think of dogs and cats and horses when it's animal rescue. Nobody thinks donkeys.
Nobody.
So we have to teach them to think donkeys. We have to share that.
Right.
And that's it. There's not donkey donors under every tree. So we have to really spread the message to get people just to know that there's a problem.
Right. And spreading awareness about things like the donkey hide trade. That's a huge problem out, in a global sense. And
4 million donkeys a year are slaughtered for their hides to go to China.
And people don't know. Yes. Any time, and in fact we have a Facebook page dedicated to that, information about that. But when you tell people that you share these stories of donkeys being stolen off farms in Africa, and those donkeys were the only thing that made this family's work available, or were able to get their water because of the work of this donkey being stolen for this hide trade. People just don't know. So
and it's unsustainable.
Exactly.
There's not enough donkeys being bred for them to kill 4 million a year.
Right.
So and on that note, because we probably won't do a whole show on it, we started branding our donkeys, freeze branding our donkeys for that purpose, so that, because since we always own them,
right,
nobody can sell them, so hopefully it'll help prevent them from eventually falling through the cracks and ending up
exactly.
in the high market.
And when you can look at, you see this field of donkeys, you can see if there's PVDR donkeys because they've got the brand on them. And so if there's ever a situation where there's donkeys being shipped to auction and they've got our brands, then they've stolen our donkeys.
Yes,
and
and so if you see that brand, call us. Get on the website, call us, let us know right away so that we can intercede on that donkey's behalf. Because we never sell our donkeys. We do adopt them, but we never give over title. So they're our property and they can't be sold. We're going to take a quick break. Jess has got to change clothes, and we'll be back after the message.
Peaceful Valley's Satellite Adoption Center program is one of the functions of our rescue that really sets us apart from others. By having locations all across the country, we're able to be a local rescue nearly anywhere. We are always on the lookout for new satellite adoption centers, so if you're interested in learning more, please visit our website at www.satellitecenter.org. Back to you, Mark.
Yeah.
All right, we're back. We got Jessica, who's our Director of Communications, with us, and we're talking all things PVDR, really.
Yep.
Let's change gears and let's talk about Tink.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to ask me a question or just?
I rescued Tink, and when I picked him up, well, when the call came in, it was from a neighbor because this donkey was limping and nobody would do anything about it. And so the sheriff department got involved, and when I went there was, I think, 6 donkeys total. But there was this one mini, and his whole hoof was gone. His entire hoof was gone. And he was walking around on nothing. And I mean, it one of those gut check things. So, and a lot of you probably followed along the Tink rescue. But what happened was they had let his hooves grow long, and he got in a fight with a much bigger donkey who was wearing a halter, and that hoof hooked into that halter and literally ripped it off. So we got him in the trailer, we brought him home, and we were taking him straight to the vet, but the vet only has concrete and rocks to unload. And I could not imagine having Tink offload on that with his foot. So we stopped off at the ranch and we patted him up and got it wrapped so that we could get him safely unloaded at the vet's. And there wasn't a lot that could be done. I mean, so he actually got a prosthetic. We've tried some different things and made him comfortable, and he was a great little donkey, and you ended up with him.
Yeah, so I had come to the ranch for the first time in, what would that have been, the fall of 2015, I think. And yeah, here meeting everybody for the first time and seeing the ranch for the first time, which, by the way, if you have not visited the ranch in San Angelo and you absolutely should. It'll blow your mind. But I was talking with Michelle, who's the, here on senior staff with PVDR, and there was this donkey laying in this paddock up close to the office, and, I saw that he had a bandage on his leg, and I was asking her, what happened, and she explained the whole story to me, and, I said, I fell in love with him. I mean, he was a beautiful, beautiful donkey, real dark chocolate fur, and just this, sweet demeanor about him, and I asked if he had a home, and Michelle said, not yet. We're waiting for the perfect home. And I said, I'd love to take him. And so I was lucky enough to be able to take him. And when I got my next shipment of donkeys, about a month after that, Tink was in that shipment. And
you wrote a book about him.
I did. We
don't have a release date yet, but it's in the works.
Yes.
It's a kid's book. We've never done a kid's book, so.
Yes. Tink Tink meant the world to my family and me, and especially my son. I have a son who's 3.5 now. Of course, he's known Tink since, what would he have been, almost 2. And Tink, as well as my 2 other donkeys, my Jenny and my gelding, they'd follow my son around when he was learning how to walk. They would, Tink just meant the world to us. Every morning I'd go out. I had a soft pen with a shelter that I'd keep Tink in at night with his leg open so that it could air out. And in the morning I'd go out, I'd clean it out, I'd bandage it up, put his boot on, and he'd be out. And he was a spunky guy, just as energetic as any donkey I've ever seen. The loudest donkey I have ever heard, ever. Just amazing. And so unfortunately he did pass away earlier this year, and it was complications with his foot, and we consulted with the vet, and then the vet here at PVDR, and it was very difficult to have to say goodbye to Tink. So I did, I because he meant so much to our family, and he meant so much to my kid, who still asks about him from time to time, and that is a little difficult. There is a children's book coming out about Tink, and about how just because you might be smaller than the others, and maybe you have an ailment others don't understand, and maybe you have a really loud, annoying voice, you still matter. And in a world of a lot of trolls and bullies, I think we should all strive to be Tinks. And
but now you have Bodhi.
Now I have Bodhi, and he
was an orphan that the staff bottle fed around the clock. And when he was old enough, and we knew he was going to make it, because not all foals, there's a reason they get orphaned usually, and a lot of times because the moms know there's something wrong.
Right.
So once we knew he was good to go, you were the first one we thought of.
Yeah, we had just said goodbye to Tink, and it was just, I don't think it ever gets easy to have to say goodbye. But when I was told that I was the first person considered for adopting Bodhi, I cried a little bit. And he, again, just everything sometimes I think just kind of happens the way it should, and Bodhi is just the perfect little addition to our family. He's great friends with my son. He gets along amazing with my other donkeys, because one of the things about an orphan donkey that is raised around humans is they don't really know how to act like a donkey.
Exactly. And they can become dangerous when they get big, because there's not that separation.
Exactly. They don't have their mom to nip at them when they're kicking and biting when they shouldn't. And so having him in with my 2 donkeys, they're teaching him. They're teaching him how to do it. Of course, it's very difficult for me to not spoil him rotten. He figured out how to open our back door, and has let himself in a few times if I don't keep an eye on him. But he's doing so great. He's getting big. He's just energetic and fun, and just the happiest little donkey. And so we're so grateful to have him. He was the light that we needed in that very dark time. And we don't forget Tink. My hope is with this book that he'll live on, and also spread that awareness about what neglect can do to a donkey that never would have happened to him if he hadn't been neglected in the first place.
Right.
And so we're excited about Bodhi, and excited to see who he grows up to be. He's getting big already. I'm actually not sure how big he's going to get. He's pretty darn big. He's already bigger than our mini, and he's getting every day you see him grow. So he's doing great.
Well, I want to thank you for coming in, because you're supposed to be on the other side of the cameras producing the show.
Yep.
But thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. And y'all be sure, find us on all of our social media outlets. Contact us. Any ideas
YouTube.
You have. Yeah. YouTube is the other one.
DonkeyRescueTV is on YouTube. That's
yes.
our channel.
People wanting to know.
Like it, subscribe to it, do the whole thing.
Share it. Sharing is caring. So much of what we do is because people share our information and get us out there. So please do all of that. Email us, call us if you need anything, if you have any questions or ideas. We love hearing from y'all. So
Absolutely. Well, please remember the Peaceful Valley Donkey Rescue is funded entirely by private donations. So go to DonkeyRescue.org, make a donation, get a coffee cup, get a t-shirt. It all goes to the donkeys. It's all for a good cause. Y'all be good. We're going to see you next time.